Hi, welcome to NicheCraft. My name is Cassie and I'm your host, and today we are going to be looking at my first acid dye experiment, and it went really well. I'm really excited for you guys to see it. Now, I had tried to make a video for you guys to show you how to make a dye stock solution, but the video got all messed up and everything, you know, it's life. But I did want to say before I remake that video that the dye stock solution that I used was a 1% solution. And for those of you who are interested in learning how to dye with acid dye and you've seen what you need for your safety, right? Just know that you mix 1 gram of the acid dye powder with 100 milliliters of water, and you stir it up, make sure it dissolves. Now, that's not going to make a whole lot of dye stock. So what I do is that I mix 5 grams of the acid dye powder to 500 milliliters of water. That way I have a large amount. So I just wanted to make sure you guys knew that. And I will be making that video and adding it to my beginner dye playlist. So I just wanted to make sure you guys knew that. That said, I am so excited to show you this. It came out so awesome. So let's go ahead and see that video. So what I want to do is recreate the same color that I made the first time, only I want to do it with acid dye to see which one works out best. Now this color Spruce I just mixed, and it's my favorite of all the colors. So I'm adding that to the pot, and I'm only adding a little bit. And that's because I want to dye 2 hanks with the Spruce at a very low, almost pastel rate. So, as you can see, I'm pressing this in here and it's just barely getting dyed, right? So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to let this cook for about 10 minutes until the water runs clear. And when it's got that spruce all soaked up, then I'm going to begin trying to recreate that first colorway. Okay, so with the first part done, we have this very pastel spruce, and it is not, it's a tonal, in other words, it's not solid all over, which is fine. I just wanted to get that spruce as a base color. So I have swirled this 1 hank in around like that, and I'm going to add some more water, and this has about 2 teaspoons of vinegar in it. And I'm going to start dyeing it the way that I wanted to dye the foresty hank that I tried to dye the first time. Okay, so on the side, I'm not going to show it to you because you'll get to see it as I do it. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 different colors of green, 1 yellow, and 2 different shades of brown. One of them might be a more green brown. So the first thing that I want to do is to add some yellow so that it looks like the sun is shining through. So here we go. That's my 1 spot of yellow. We're done there. Next to the yellow, I want to add a more yellow green. Right? After that, I am going to add this really gorgeous emerald color. Next, I'm going to add spruce. This is the color I like the best, so I'm going to want to make sure I add a lot of it. And remember, I'm going to have to turn this over to dye the other side. So I'm going to be doing this multiple times. Next, I'm going to add this, I think it's kind of an olive green. I'm going to add it 2 places. Right here. And right here, kind of on the outside here. Maybe a couple right over here. Okay, now I have that kind of greenish brown. I'm not certain how this is going to look. Yeah, that looks good. I like that. Okay. And now I'm going to add the brown because trees have trunks. And that's going to be a pretty deep brown. I noticed that that brown kind of looks a little red. Now, check this out. I'm going to let it sit there for just a bit. Now I'm going to come back and I'm going to take this fork and I'm going to disperse this and blend these colors together. Just like so. It looks like that brown, it looks like it could use a little bit more brown over there. But so far all the green colors are looking pretty good. So as you can see, this spruce is much darker. We've got this emerald green in here. Here. We've got the yellow green and then that little spot of yellow right there. So as you can see now that some of this green is starting to spread out there. And I want to kind of help it along by adding, like I said, spruce is my favorite color in this. I'm going to add a little bit of spruce on that side too. Okay. And then, like I said about that brown, I'm going to add some more brown to help this brown along because I want to make sure that gets, the depth of that shade is much darker than the way it is right now. Okay. Yeah. The depth of shade is a lot better. So now that I have this done on this side, I'm going to put the lid on here and I'm going to turn it up and I'm going to set it for however long it takes. I'm thinking it might take about 10 minutes until that water runs clear. And when it runs clear, then I'm going to flip it over and do the other side. And next, I'll do that with the other skein. All right, so in the tub where I had the pre-soak, we have the other very pastel spruce green in here, and then we have one that we have not dyed yet. I'm okay with having this in with the spruce green though, because I'm going to dye this a tonal spruce green to go with the 2 hanks that I'm going to make that kind of foresty color. Okay, so I think that now would be a really good time to let you know which yarn I'm using. So I was actually able to deduce what yarn I'm using by going to Kramer Yarn, checking out what weight it was and all of that good stuff. And again, this was given to me in a Kramer Yarn mystery box. So I don't 100% know this, but what I believe is this is the Kramer Yarns undyed in Leslie, and it is a 1 weight. Okay, so that's like a fingering or lace weight. It's 115 grams per, which is 4 ounces per hank, and that's 425 yards per hank. So what I am dyeing right here is almost 1,300 yards of yarn. So just wanted to let you guys know, because you ask a lot, you know, where do I get this? I got this in a mystery box, but based on everything that I looked at, I believe this is the 4 ounce Leslie which is 425 yards of a 1 weight. Alright, so this is my first time using acid dye and I cannot wait, so I just want to peek and see how it's going. Oh my goodness, can you guys see that? Isn't that gorgeous? I'm going to turn it down a little bit lower because I don't want this boiling. Let's see. That water looks almost clear. I can see some green in it. But that almost looks clear. That is a far cry from what it looked like when I used the food coloring, isn't it? Well, I'm going to let this set for just a little bit more, and then I'm going to turn around and I'm going to do the other side. Alright, so you guys saw what it looked like when I opened the lid up. I let it cook just for a little bit longer until the water ran clear. And now what I've done is I've turned it over and I've reapplied the same dye, only I used twice as much as I applied on the other side. Now I did that for a reason. When you are dyeing something when it's wet, it's going to look a lot darker than when it's dry. So the way that I'm doing this is so that one side of this might be a little bit more pastel and the other side is going to be a little bit darker. Now I have not spread this dye around. It actually might have already just kind of seeped in there. It's going to be spreading just a little bit here. Yeah. I waited longer to spread it, but see, we've got this really gorgeous dark area where spruce is. We've got this emerald green right here, and then this is that yellow green, and that little place where I dropped that yellow right here around here is where I put a little bit of that lighter brown and the kind of olive looking green. And anyway, so I'm going to add just a little bit more vinegar, and then I'm going to put the lid on and I'm going to cook it for 10 minutes at least. That way it will steam set all through it. And I'm not going to film the second time I do this, but I'm going to do this to the other hank that I dyed that very pastel spruce color as well. So I finished doing both of the two skeins, and they are right now cooling and drying. And now I'm going to make this hank of yarn be a tonal variation of this spruce green. So I have this spruce green in here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour this in here just like I did the others. And what that's going to do is it's going to leave some areas where it's more saturated than others. And so I'm gonna start spreading this out a little bit here. So you see how some areas are more saturated there? Alright, so I just applied on this side. So I want this all to process at once, so I'm going to pick this up and try to expose all of the white areas that I did not get. Now remember, it is going to be sitting in this, so it's going to get some variation on this. And I have the last bit here, and I'm going to just pour that on as well. Okay. So now that I have that there, I'm going to turn this on about medium heat. I'm going to start pressing this. And what's going to happen here is that all of this whole skein is going to be spruce green. But some places are going to be darker than other places. So I'm done spreading it, and where I am right now is that I want to have one extra hank of yarn where I have only that spruce green on it, so that I can pair that with the two that I made variegated colors. I'm probably going to add just a little bit more vinegar to this and then we will let this cook. And I'm going to go ahead and just let it cook for about 10 minutes. And then I'm going to put it down to cool. So this is vinegar. I just added it to this cup because I want to make sure I use all the dye here. So there's some more vinegar. I'll kind of stir it around by pressing this in here. So now what we should end up having is a nice tonal spruce green. Either way, it's going to match the other colors very, very well. So here is how my 3 hanks came out. I've got this tonal one in the middle, and then I've got 2 of the ones that I dyed on either side, and I am about to wash them. Hi, welcome back to the table where I am about to reveal to you the final effect on the yarn. So when I left you, I was about to rinse the yarn. The yarn ran clear. Everything went well. I went ahead and hung it up to dry, and it's completely dry now, and I want to show you what it looks like. So the first one I'm going to show you is the spruce tonal, and I really enjoy the way this looks. It is absolutely what I wanted. Let me go ahead and zoom in so you can see a little bit better exactly what I was going for. All right, so as you can see, this is not a solid color. It is, and that's the way that I wanted it to be. It is a tonal variation here on the same color. In some areas, it might even be considered pastel. Don't really have a whole lot of really pastel areas, and then in some it's just really saturated, like right here. It's absolutely beautiful. I'm going to go ahead and zoom back out again so that you guys can see it in a larger area, and I'm going to go ahead and reposition it so you can see. I am absolutely in love with this color. I think it's gorgeous. This came out exactly the way that I wanted it to. I think it's going to be really fun to work with this yarn. Whether or not it actually matches the other 2 hanks, you guys will have to see for yourself. So let me go ahead and show you those. I'm going to move this off camera so you can see the 2 hanks and how they came out. So here is the first hank. Absolutely gorgeous. We have that bit of light right here with that yellow, and we've got this really bright yellow green here. The emerald green showed up so well right here, and I'm really glad that that emerald green was able to get a lot of areas. Of course, we have the browns in there, and there's the kind of olive brown green, and of course there's that beautiful spruce color right here. So I am very happy with the way that this looks. I think it's great. And then the other hank of yarn I'll go ahead and put right beside here. And again, we have, now these are not the same, they were just dyed in the same way using the same dyes. So we have this, again, we've got those browns. It's not nearly as dark as this one, but I like that variation. We have that bright spot of yellow with some yellow green. Here's some of that spruce, very dark colored spruce. And again, it's tonal. It's not just one color. And I like that. That's what I was going for in this. And as you can see, like here are two areas where that spruce came together here, and then we can kind of compare it to the spruce color on this one. Yeah. And overall, I think that these 2 hanks will look absolutely stunning paired together. I'm not certain if I can quite visualize exactly how this is going to look when it's worked up. Of course, once I do work it up, I will show it to you guys. and let you see what it looks like. So to give you a really solid idea of the difference between dyeing with food coloring and dyeing with acid dye, I'm bringing back that first colorway that I made. Remember, I was so proud of this, and I still am. And I ended up working this colorway into this divine hat. I was really in a divine hat kick, and I wanted to make a whole bunch of them. So this is what I got when I tried to make this colorway the first time. And this is what I got when I made the exact same colorway, basically, using the same colors, or the same approximate colors, only I used acid dye. Clearly you can see that the acid dye has so much better potential for dyeing in a way that is very vivid, very bright. It's something that honestly people would be interested in purchasing. You know what I mean? This is very high quality yarn, and it's dyed very well. So the limits with acid dyeing, as long as you have all that equipment, in order to make sure that you are safe and that you are doing it with your safety in mind, it's basically all up to your own creativity with all the different kind of color palettes and colorways that you can make. I am so happy that I am able to show you how to do this. I'm so happy because I've discovered a whole nother hobby to do with yarn that it just really fulfills me to know that now I can not only crochet and knit and make the items that I want to make and actually be able to design them and make them really well, but also that I can dye my own colors like this. I am so thrilled. So the next step is going to be to purchase some more undyed yarns, but this time going for some specific undyed yarn. Obviously, I'm running low on my undyed yarn from my Kramer mystery boxes, so next up is to purchase some undyed yarn and work with some very specific colorways. I'm going to be really looking forward to that, and I will put up a poll soon on my community tab to talk about what kind of colorway you guys would be interested in me dyeing yarn. All right, guys? So I'm going to go hank these up and then show them to you, and hopefully you will enjoy the way they look when they're all nice and neat. And here is what those acid dyed hanks look like, all hanked up. I am so happy with the way this turned out. Thank you guys so much for watching this video to the end. If you enjoyed this video, consider liking it and subscribe to my channel if you're interested in other yarny content. I always have giveaways, and I do mystery box unboxing, stitch tutorials, all sorts of crochet content, and I also do the Wellness Wednesday on Wednesday that a lot of you guys love. I will see you soon in another video. Bye for now.